Wemwega. Welcome back to another Kikuyu lesson. My name is Wanjiro, your Kikuyu language teacher. Today I am going to make a video about conjugation of verbs. How do we say I walk? How do we say she talks? How do we say you talk? If you are new, I really appreciate you because I love new students in my class. I have online lessons. You can reach me through this email address if you want to learn, or if you know anyone who is looking for a Kikuyu language tutor, just make sure you send them the email address. I'm also going to write it in the description box. So, shall we start? Conjugation is the way a verb changes to show a person, to show tenses, numbers, and also to show the mood. So we have the first verb, which is to do. To do is weka in Kikuyu, weka. And I have to tell you that all the verbs in Kikuyu, if you want to include the to, like we are saying here, to do, it will be weka. The go and sometimes ko, wo, or ko is a prefix for most of our verbs. Not most, actually all of our verbs. So you can either say weka, and as you continue, you see more verbs with go and other verbs with ko. The next thing you should know is that when we are conjugating these verbs, and we did this when we were learning the daily routines or the daily activities in this video, you add ga at the end of each verb. In this case, because we have weka, if I wanted to say I do, I'll say jekaga, jekaga. So why am I adding nj? Because I'm talking about me. So when I am talking about myself, or when you are talking about yourself, you are going to start these verbs with either nja, with either nya, with either nga. In most of the sentences, on most of the tenses, when you're talking about yourself, these are the prefixes for all our verbs. But there's also if the verb starts with combined consonants. For example, the, which means go, because already it starts with th, we are not going to use nj, nd, we're not going to use this. We are just going to use the th that is already in the verb. And remember, the pronoun I or me is nie, nie. So I can always say nie jekaga, good things, maudo mega, nie jekaga, maudo mega. When it comes to you, to say you do, we shall always start with o or w. So we are going to say o plus the verb plus ga at the end of this word. So in this case, I'll say wekaga, wekaga. Because o and w can be pronounced the same in Kikuyu, we can say wekaga or oekaga. Also, because the pronoun you is where, you can always say where wekaga, maudo mega. For he or she, we are going to start with a plus our verb plus ga. I kaga, she does or he does. Kikuyu, we don't have gender. We don't have, okay, we have gender when we are differentiating between a man and a woman, because they are all different. But when it comes to saying to the pronouns, we don't have the gender, we don't have the he or she. So I don't know all these genders that are coming up. I don't know how we will use them in Kikuyu, because we already don't have a he or a she. We always say a, and the plural will always be ma, diaga, me kaga. Okay, so when you have a plus a, as in this case, sometimes when you combine vowels in Kikuyu, they form a different vowel. I kaga will become e kaga, e kaga. All our verbs will be nie jekaga, maudo mega, we kaga, maudo mega, we. Oh yes, the pronoun he or she is we. So we, ekaga, maudo mega. And you don't have to say we, you can say wajiro ekaga, maudo mega. The next verb will be to work. To work is korutawira, korutawira. Again, I told you the verbs always start with ko or wo, but when it's alone, it will be ruta wera. When I say that I work, I'll say dutaga wera, dutaga wera. But I always tell my students, if you find a verb like this one, rutawera, instead of wondering, should I use nda, should I use nja, should I use nya, you can always say rutagawera, rutagawera. Nobody will like kukosoa, or if they do, they'll tell you rutagawera, but you can always say rutagawera, rutagawera. For example, rutagawera wa guthomithia Gikuyu, rutagawera wa guthomithia Gikuyu. For you, we are going to add o, because we can't say w then r, so you say orutaga wera, orutaga wera. The question, orutaga wera oreko, which work do you do? Orutaga wera oreko. That person will be a rutaga wera, a rutaga wera. Number 3, we have go. Go is die, to go, go die, go die. So in this case, I already told you how we are going to do this. The first one, for me, I go, I'll say diaga, diaga, diaga wera, diaga sukuru. You can always say that. Nie diaga wera, nie diaga sukuru. For you, it will be o diaga, o diaga. For example, I could ask o diaga wera the sigana, o diaga wera the sigana. What time do you go to work? So it will be o diaga. For he or she, it will be adiaga, correct? Adiaga, adiaga wera the sigana, adiaga ko muthenya wa Sunday. Where does he go on Sundays? Adiaga ko. Where does he go? So adiaga. At number 4, we have to try. To try is kogeria, kogeria. That means try alone will be geria, geria. And I'm about to explain something else, okay? When we have verbs that end with iya, iya, for example this one, geria, it's going to end with gia instead of ga. In this case, when I want to say I try, I'll say geragia, geragia, geragia. So we only added n because we already have g here, but in real sense we are adding ng, geragia. For example, I try to wake up early. I can always start with nie, nie ne geragia gukira tene, nie ne geragia gukira tene. For you, it will be what? Ogeragia, ogeragia. Where ne ogeragia gukira tene, ne ogeragia gukira tene. Do you try to wake up early? For her, it will be ageragia, ageragia. For example, waboi ne ageragia gukira tene, waboi ne ageragia gukira tene. As you have seen, it's very easy to conjugate verbs in simple present tenses, and this is the second time that I've done that. So if you would like to learn more verbs, I have a video about daily activities. I've done exactly what I've done today, but with more verbs. So I hope to see you next time in the next lesson. Tikbo Vega.